So I posted the same exact video a couple hours ago earlier today, and I accidentally left out some very important facts about the vintage card that's in this video. So I felt I needed to go back and just edit the video and repost it. So if you're one of those original 200 people that watched that first video, listen, I'm sorry. But like I said, I felt that information was very important, so I made sure I just added that. But other than that, back to the video. Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. On today's episode, I'm going to make a video that's just going to trigger a lot of people, because the topic of this video is really going to be cards that are valuable versus cards that should be valuable. And that is a huge difference. And the reason people will be triggered, because saying a card should be valuable is definitely the most subjective thing you could possibly do in this hobby. And the reason I'm making this video versus a card that is valuable versus a card that should be valuable is because I tried to explain in a different video two cards that I was purchasing, and I said, you know what, I don't want to somehow manipulate the market or push you guys to cards that I'm actively buying on. Maybe you can call it a little bit more of a higher end scale, because really I just wanted to give you the tools to get to those decisions on your own. So I thought, what is like the safest bet thing I could do? I just picked one common and one uncommon from super modern sets and explained to you guys my thought process and why I picked up those cards. But at the end of the day, that video, it really just missed its mark, because I wasn't able to really explain to you guys my thought process. So I said, you know what, screw it. For this video, I'm just going to talk about one card that I have actively been adding positions to, that I own, that's checks all the right boxes for me. It checks the boxes for a card that is both rare and scarce. And I'm just going to compare that card to a very popular, very well-known modern card. And then at the end of the video, hopefully after you listen to this, you're going to be able to make your own decision. And you can tell me at the end if you think the card I picked has better fundamentals than a modern card at the end of the day, which is probably, you can make the argument, more valuable than the card I picked. Modern card I picked is an easy one. I just picked the Charizard VMAX from Darkness Ablaze, because I just figured, hey, let me pick a card that I don't have to explain at all. All you guys know what card that is. You understand, the fundamentals. You understand the set. There's nothing to really explain. And then for the vintage card I chose, a card that I believe in, that I think is very undervalued. And that's the big, caveat to this video, and the reason people are going to be triggered, because I honestly believe that this card is undervalued and it should be more money. And that's just the Pikachu from EX Legends Maker. And why is this Pikachu important? Why does it check all the right boxes for me? Why does it check that rarity? Why does it check that scarcity? One, it's the secret rare of the set. There's only one secret rare in EX Legend Maker, and that is this Pikachu. Number two, it's a Delta species card. So that means it's not just, a lightning attack. His attack requires a metal energy. People really love Delta species cards. I know I do. Number three, it was a box topper to this set. And no, it's not one of those jumbo box toppers like Legendary Collection or Expedition or Skyridge. Nothing like that. It's just the normal, regular-sized Pokemon card. And as you guys are very, very well aware, there's not a lot of people cracking booster boxes of this set. So the chances of these hitting the market in very high condition is extremely, extremely low. But the most important thing, the reason why I really like this card, is because this card is slept on. And why is this card really slept on? Well, because it's in EX Legend Maker. And EX Legend Maker has 3 gold stars. And you guys understand the fundamentals of gold stars. I'm not saying anything bad about gold stars. They're great cards. You can make the argument right now that pulling a gold star would probably be easier than actually getting your hands on a sealed booster box and being able to open it and getting this actual box topper. Because like I said, those booster boxes are so rare, but at the same time, packs of this set are not impossible to find. So yeah, is that a tough argument to make? Sure. But it's at least an argument you could have. And yeah, that's very subjective, But you can look at the pop reports and you can look at how many of the gold stars have been graded versus the Pikachu Secret Rare, and you could really look at how many just exist. But for today's video, because that other video I made a couple videos back where I, tried to explain to you guys my thought process missed the mark, I'm just going to break down very simple, like what this Pikachu is, what the pop report is, and we're just going to compare it strictly to that Charizard VMAX from Darkness Ablaze. We're going to do pop report, we're going to do prices, and it's going to be an interesting video, and I hope you guys stick around and listen to it. The first thing you got to do is just compare price. So I figured let's compare PSA 9 prices, because you know what? At the end of the day, PSA 10 prices can vary a little bit, and it's definitely on the most high-end scale of cards. PSA 9, a lot of people go after because it is still a very high grade, and at the end of the day, it just breaks down to being more affordable. So when you look at a Pikachu Secret Rare from EX Legends Maker, one of the most recent sales I could find from, July 21st was $139.50. The Charizard VMAX sold the day of recording this video for $139.99. So I found two sales, both PSA 9 of the individual cards, and only off by a difference of 49 cents. So just minimal. But that just shows you that these two cards are, by the Pokemon community, valued equally. And if you think that this makes sense, let me explain to you a little bit more stuff of why it doesn't. Now we can look at the pop reports. The Charizard in PSA 9 has had 825 cards graded at PSA 9. Keep in mind, these cards are still actively being graded by PSA. In PSA 10, the Charizard VMAX has had 4,404 PSA 10s graded. The entire population graded by PSA for the Charizard VMAX from Darkness Ablaze is 5,401 cards. The Pikachu Secret Rare from EX Legend Maker has a total PSA 9 population of 104 cards. The total population for PSA 10 cards for the Pikachu Secret Rare is 54 cards. In the history of PSA and all the grading for this card, there's been a total population of this card graded of 201 cards. I'm going to let you know right now, if everybody just listening to this video in the first couple hours went out and tried to buy one of these Pikachu Secret Rares, they wouldn't be able to do it. Do you want to know in graded form? You want to know why? Because literally, there's not enough cards that exist in the world graded by PSA for everybody to buy one. Now, is this video ever going to receive 5,401 views? Nope, it's not. So technically, everyone on this video could go out and get one of those Charizard VMAXs. You know why? Because they're a dime a dozen. The fundamentals behind an ultra-modern card like that is almost nothing. Yeah, is there a rarity and a scarcity to that Charizard? Sure. And, when you break down the rarity and scarcity, what do I really mean by that? Well, at the end of the day, for a Charizard VMAX from Darkness Ablaze, you would just have to open a ton of packs and get lucky and pull one. But when you look at, the entire population of all people opening packs on a daily basis of Darkness Ablaze, it becomes much easier to get that Charizard. Thus, the price reflects that. So it's still relatively affordable. It's much cheaper to just go out and buy a Charizard VMAX instead of buying a bunch of packs and opening it yourself. As for EX Legend Makers, yeah, like I said earlier, there's no way people are opening a lot of those booster boxes in order to get these box toppers. So just throw that thought out the window. And a lot of people equate such high value to that set, like I said, because of those gold stars. But because people get so focused on, the shiny stuff or the stuff that, people are talking about, and people talk about gold stars And that's rightfully so. People should talk about gold stars. Don't let this video get away from you for what I'm trying to say. I'm not talking down on gold stars, and I said that and I'll say it again. What I'm saying, though, is when I look at cards in different sets, this is literally what I look for. Cards that I believe are undervalued because of the fundamentals of that card. And at the end of the day, in a year from now or 5 years from now or 10 years from now, do I think that this pop report for PSA will explode? Do I expect it to, double, maybe, triple? I don't know. Do I expect it ever in a million years to hit just what the Charizard pop report is right now today of the time of recording this video at 5,401? No, never. Because that card at the end of the day is both rare and it's both scarce. But you want to know what the shame of this Pokemon market is that people value those two cards exactly the same. And the biggest lie that has been told in this hobby is that some cards should be valuable and some cards should not. And the fact that people equate so much value to these cards is a very dangerous, slippery slope. And the reason, like I said, a lot of people will get triggered for this video because they will want to argue that Charizard VMAX. And they will tell me why that card is on par with a secret rare Pikachu, which is also a big fan favorite, in a set that was heavily underprinted, which is super rare, super scarce. And EX Legend Maker is a famous set because of those gold stars. Is it a famous set because of that Pikachu? No. But it does not take away what that Pikachu is. And I hope you guys understand. When I talk about, looking at sets, looking at cards, trying to find cards that are undervalued, because at the end of the day, if you want to invest in the Pokemon market, the only way you're really going to do super well is if you're investing, for cards that you think in the future will have strong returns. And the only reason cards will have a strong return is because you believe, truthfully, and you believe in your heart of hearts that that card is undervalued. It's that old school invest in mindset of finding stuff that is undervalued and investing in it. Nobody wants to, or at least nobody should. The difference between nobody should versus people wanting to invest in things that are overvalued, you see it happen all the time. It's the common mistake that constantly happens. People investing in things that are overpriced. That's not the key to success in this hobby. The key to success is finding cards that are undervalued and believing in those cards. And if you believe in those cards and you see, what the fundamentals of that card is, at the end of the day, even if they do not go up and your investment stays exactly the same or even goes down, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you at least know in your heart of hearts that the fundamentals of that card is strong. And you know what? Honestly, if you have a graded copy of that Pikachu Secret Rare from EX Legends Maker, you're going to own something that most people will never be able to own. And the reason why they'll never be able to own it is because, like I said early in the video, is that there just isn't enough of those type of cards to go around in the world, or even go around to just the listeners of this very small YouTube channel. And I hope I'm able to make my point. And you know what? This card I'm explaining to you is not a common, it's not an uncommon of some modern set to try to make my point. And I always shy away from this. Just, flat out spoon feeding you guys, a card that I think is undervalued. But I just want to do it in this video. Now let me know down in the comments, do you believe that those two PSA 9s, the Charizard VMAX and the Pikachu Secret Rare, do you think that those cards should be valued the same? Because you know what? At the end of the day, that's what's happening. Those cards are valued the same. People in this hobby equate the same amount of value to those two cards. And the reason people will be triggered is because I'm telling you that that card should be more valuable. And that is the purpose of this video. Don't lose sight of this. Cards that are valuable versus cards that should be valuable. That's it. Rant over. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you guys. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Other than that, I'll catch you on the next video.